Here's the review on the 2015 Z1000 Naked after 3 or 4 300-mile rides. Now I'm giving a review on it. I did do first impression review, but that's before I'd ridden it. Right, I love it. I've ridden all bikes under the sun, you name it. Same as my other reviews, as you'll see. I've owned everything. At the moment in the garage, I've got a Tiger 800, a CBR 99 Fireblade, an FZ8, but I've had every bike's going. You know, there's no point in listing them. I've had everything. I bought this, as per my last review on it, I bought it only by the pictures, but it was one owner, 5,000 mile, showroom condition, completely original when I bought it. It was only on its second set of tyres. Anyway, so I've had this out for a couple of 250-mile rides, and I absolutely fucking love it. I wasn't expecting too much because I love me FZ1 and things like that. I didn't think, you know, this would be as good as that. I think it's better. The power delivery is nice. It's smooth all the way through. Not so much a power band, but just pulls all the way through. It handles superb. It really does. I can't fault the bike. Well, no, tell a lie. If I was to fault the bike, the only thing I would say, and it's not a reason not to buy it, is the suspension is a little bit stiff on the rear, a little bit stiff. I found when I given it some, and I was coming to some parts of the road that were undulated, you know, maybe have a few bumps in them, the seat was coming up and hitting me on the arse, more like a race bike. So in that sense, it was a little bit stiff, but no reason not to buy the bike. I didn't bother trying to adjust it and adjust the settings because a few people have said it's a bit stiff. But I always buy Nitron shocks for my bikes, so I've got a Nitron shock on order for this bike. I added the SP Engineerings, I added the tail tidy, I added a Hyper Pro steering damper, I added some brake caliper guards. It's got the extended screen, which I think's a must. But yeah, so I've added all the little bits to it. But handling, I honestly absolutely loved it. I got on it and it was like I'd never been off it. It just fitted like a glove. It really did. I just got on it, shot off, and when you get on some bikes, as you'll know, you'll go, oh, the steering's a bit tight here, or, you know, oh, I'm not used to that turn, or the weight's a bit heavy, or nothing. I got on it and just shot off, and it was like I was just jumping on my FZ1, and I'd had it for 5 years. I mean, it was brilliant. Now, what can I think of? I love the mirrors on it. The mirrors are nice. They're a nice touch on this, I think. A nice bit of quality. So you adjust the mirrors from there, which I think is good. So you've got to pick a few faults with a bike, I'm guessing. Now, the only thing I would say, you know, and it's not really a fault, but if you want to be niggly, on the clocks, you've got your turn it on. Sorry about this. You've got your, like down here, I've got 16 miles because I like to do my trip every time I fill up at the petrol garage, and then when I get to about 100 miles, I refill up again. But I can't have the clock on there. I can't have the temperature on there. You can have one or the other, so you've got to adjust it. So that's a bit annoying, you know. I look down, I want to see the time, I can't. Or if I change it to time, I then can't see the mileage I've done. So that's a little bit annoying, but again, no reason not to buy a bike, you know. No reason at all. The build quality on this, superb. You get some bikes, you know, when you think, oh, the quality's okay, or this is a bit flimsy. Absolutely superb. I looked at, before I bought this, I was going to buy the CB1000R, the new shape one. Oh shit, the quality was piss poor. And I didn't think the ride was very good neither, to be honest. It's okay, but yeah, compared to this, nah, chalk and cheese. This bike is planted. People say, oh, it's a little bit heavy. My FZ1, I think, was 189 kilos. I think this is 220. So yes, it's sort of 25 kilos heavier, but it suits the bike. It feels more planted on the road. So in that sense, I think the extra weight actually does the bike well. And to be honest, when moving, you have no idea. You have no idea at all. It's flickable. It goes into the bends, absolutely gorgeous. The power delivery is brilliant. I was very, very surprised on how much I do like it. You know, sometimes, you know, I'll buy any bike that I like, you know, I like that. I buy my bikes on condition and mileage. So, and I'll go for anything. I'm not, you know, one of these people go, oh, I'm a Honda person or I'm a Yamaha person. I'll buy any fucking bike that I think is worth the money. It looks nice and I'll give it a go. You know, I've bought some bikes and had them 2 months and gone, nah, not really for me. Nice bike, but not mine. This I'm keeping. Hence, I've spent another 1,800 quid on the extras. The SP Engineering exhaust, I think they were 5.5. Absolutely lovely on this, and they're not too loud. You know, to be fair, I don't know if it's this engine. I suppose it is because they've got twin exhaust. The sound on this is not what you'd expect. You know, it's just, yeah, it's just nice. So I put the SPs on. The Hyperpro steering damper, I think, was 480. It's the reactive one. The Nitron shocks, they're 550. But I know it's going to transform this bike, although it doesn't. It rides superb. But on the bumps, just occasionally, on the whole rides I did, sometimes you'd hit some road, like say, you'd have undulations in the road, and then that's when the suspension sort of tied itself in knots a little bit. It was just coming back too hard. The rebound was too much, so it was just a bit stiff. I'm sure you can adjust it right off and you won't have a problem. I just didn't bother. I just bought my Nitron shock because I love them. I think they're the most important change if you change on a bike is change your rear shock to a quality shock. And I think the Nitron shocks, personally, are the best out there for the price range. They're better than your YSLs and your all your other, you know, your Hyperpro shocks and all the rest of it. Nitron for the money, I think, is better. And then obviously you're going up to Öhlins and whatever. But yeah, Nitron shocks I think is a must. But yeah, again, build quality, 10 out of 10. There's nothing on it where you go, oh, that's flimsy, that's crap. Absolutely, build quality is superb. Yeah, can't fault it. I honestly can't fault it. And like I said, the only thing I didn't like on these bikes is these front ends. I think they're fucking awful. They look like Johnny 5. But when you put the screen on, it takes that Johnny 5 look away. So I like it now with the screen on. But when I first bought the bike, because I was buying it on condition and the mileage and the quality of it, I wasn't too sure about the front light. But with that screen on, it's brilliant. I bought the the rear hugger, sorry, the number plate holder. They do one, that's the expensive one, which is 90 quid, but there's no wire cutting. So you can just unplug your original and plug it back in, because I don't like cutting wires on bikes for the sake of it, if you don't have to. So I just think when I go to sell it, I can put it back to original and it'll be fine. Crash mushrooms all round. I'm trying to think. The R&G. I tell you what I did buy for anybody out there. I bought R&G front fork sliders, and I got them for the back as well. But I bought R&G front fork sliders, but I'd forgotten I'd ordered these Savage Racing ones. I'd forgotten I'd ordered them. And must have been at night time, so I ordered the R&G, and the R&G turned up. I put them on the bike, but then these Savage turned up, and I went, oh shit, I forgot I ordered those. Half the price and much better. I actually took the R&Gs off and I've actually got them up for sale. They're actually better and they were half the price. So I was well impressed with those ones, well impressed for the money. But yeah, cracking bikes. Honestly, I generally can't fault it. If you was going to be, like I say, picky on stuff, because you've got to pick on something all the time, it would have been nice to have a gear indicator. Again, not important. Would have been nice, but it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to think what else. Just a clock thing, like I say. But again, it really don't matter, but it would have been nice to be able to see the time and the mileage at the same time and the temperature, but it just doesn't show you it. I'll do a start up and you'll be surprised at how quiet these exhausts are, and that's with the baffles in. But when I had the baffles out, there was no difference. There really was no difference. So as you see, they're not like my FZ1 single can screaming down the road like somebody that was on something. I mean, it was mental sound. But these with twin exhausts, it doesn't sound so. Being over 50, it sounds beefy and nice. So the only way I can explain this bike for anybody that's looking at buying one, compared to my FZ1 was like a Caterham, like a Porsche. You opened it up, rah, I'm off, I'm coming. This is more like your DB9. This would be more like your Aston Martin. You open it up, it's smooth, it sounds nice and beefy, and it just pulls and pulls and pulls. So it's almost like in chalk and cheese. The FZ1 is like, you know, well, it is an R1 with straight bars, but your FZ1's your screaming bike. This is more your luxury bike, if that's an easy way of explaining stuff. But honestly, anybody out there that's looking to buy, or, you know, an upright street fighter or street fighter bike, whatever I want to call it, I was very, very surprised with this. Very surprised. And I'm so glad I bought it. I kept my FZ1s, although I've always had 5 or 6 bikes, I kept my FZ1s for 5 years, and I had 2-3 of them. So for about 5, 6, 7 year period, I always had an FZ1 in the garage because I loved it. It was my toy. This has become my toy, and this will stay in my garage for the next 5 or 6 years. And what I do like about it is, again, some people might like this or not, no fucking electronic gadgets. No fly-by-wire throttle, no mapping modes, no ABS, no traction control. I'm riding the bike, and I can fix the bike. So, again, anybody looking at the, you know, bikes nowadays, oh, the traction control's gone down. Take it down the shop, they charge you £1.50 to plug it in, and then tell you it's 300 quid to fix a fucking sensor. I don't want all that shit. And I'm not disputing it's good, but I don't want it. So on this bike, you know, if I need to adjust my throttle, I'll go over to the cable and I'll adjust it. You know, if my clutch needs adjusting, I'll go over and adjust it. So in that sense, it's what I call a biker's bike. You can fix stuff yourself. Nice little touch. I do like the clear brake reservoir. I do like that. But yeah, really is a nice bike, and I generally say to people, don't overlook this if you're going out looking at a bike. You know, I rode the MT10 and the MT09. Don't get me wrong, MT10 and that, nice bikes, blah blah blah. MT09 ain't got a touch on this, but the MT10 again was a real nice bike. But don't overlook this. For the money, I think they're good bikes. I pay 7,1 for this, but I'm into it for another 18 with all the bits I've added, so I'm into it probably for 9 grand. But it's a lot of bike for 9 grand, a lot of bike. And if you don't add all the extra bits, it's a hell of a lot of bike for 7 grand. Hell of a lot of bike to be able to pick up a basically brand new 5,000 mile one owner z1000 for 7 grand. I think is a cracking deal, considering, you know, you go out. My mate's got the new 1050, I think it was it 16 grand or whatever it was. He's got the speed triple. I prefer this. And I've had the speed triples, I've had the street triples. I prefer this. Don't get me wrong, speed triple's a cracking bike, but I prefer this. This is a nicer bike, and you don't see many of them. You don't see many of the naked version anyway. But yeah, sorry for rambling everybody, and it's a long old crappy video, but if you're looking for one of these bikes, honestly, do not overlook it. It rides superb, it handles superb. The build quality is second to none, top drawer, and I mean top drawer. Not like some of the bikes now, where your Suzukis and your Hondas have gone right downhill. This is top drawer quality, and it's the 15 plate. So I think these bikes were 14, 15, 16 in this shape, and then they just slightly tweaked them for, I think, 17, 18, but you can do your own checks. But yeah, cracking bike, well worth a go. I have no complaints with it at all, and really do love it. Hope this helps somebody out.